You know that feeling, right? You're left out of a group chat, you don't get the invite to a party, or you feel that awful sting of a romantic rejection. We use phrases like broken heart or hurt feelings, but we kind of treat them like metaphors. But what if they weren't? Let's dive into this because the science here reveals something absolutely wild about social pain. Your brain, it doesn't really see a difference between that and physical pain. And that's exactly what we're going to break down, why that happens and what on earth you can do about it.
This right here, this is the key idea we're going to unpack. And it's not an exaggeration. The very same neural machinery that lights up when you break your arm also fires up when you feel excluded. It sounds pretty unbelievable, I know, but this one concept explains so much about why rejection feels so completely devastating, why we try so hard to fit in, and why it's so hard to just, shake it off. It's not all in your head, it's literally in your biology.
So here's the plan. First, we'll get into the hard science behind a literal broken heart. Then, we'll go way back and look at the primal panic button that evolution installed in your brain. After that, we'll map out the whole automated process, this thing called the connection survival loop. Then, we get practical. We're talking tools for taking back the remote control of your own brain. And we'll finish up with a really powerful new way to think about your own self-worth.
All right, let's jump right into the science of it all. This isn't about feelings or philosophy, not yet anyway. This is about what is physically happening inside your skull when you feel that social sting.
Seriously, think about it for a second. That hollowed out feeling, that dull ache right in your chest after a fight with someone you love, or that sharp pang when you see friends hanging out without you on social media. You've probably told yourself you're just being too sensitive, right? Or being dramatic. But that physical sensation, it's not an illusion. It is a genuine biological event. It's a signal flare being fired off by your brain.
And here is the groundbreaking evidence. Neuroscientists put people in fMRI machines, the ones that watch the brain in real time, and they found that when people felt socially rejected, two key areas lit up like a Christmas tree. They're called the DAC and the insula. And here's the absolute kicker. These are the exact same regions that fire up when you experience physical pain. This pain matrix is what makes any pain feel awful and distressing, whether it's from a burn on your hand or a cold shoulder from a friend.
This whole phenomenon actually has a name, neural pain overlap. And the theory is pretty simple and kind of brilliant. Your brain didn't go to the trouble of evolving a whole new system just for social pain. Why would it? It had a perfectly good, highly effective alarm system already built in, the one for physical injury. So it just repurposed it. It basically let social pain piggyback on the physical pain network because for our ancestors, a social threat was just as dangerous as a physical one. Okay, so we've got the what, social and physical pain run on the same tracks in the brain. But why? Why would evolution decide that being left on rage should feel, neurally speaking, anything like touching a hot stove? Well, the answer goes way, way back into our tribal past. You have to remember, our brains are still running on some seriously ancient software. For almost all of human history, we lived in these small, tight-knit tribes. And in that world, connection wasn't just a nice to have, it was literally everything. If you got cast out, that meant no food, no protection from predators, no help with anything. It was a guaranteed death sentence. The stakes could not have been higher.
So, because being alone meant dying, the brain developed this default state we call relational hypervigilance. It's always on. Your brain is constantly subconsciously scanning your world for these tiny little clues of social disapproval. A slight shift in tone, a look that's held for just a second too long, a weird pause in a conversation, and each one of those things can trigger what's called a limbic alarm, a warning from the primitive emotional part of your brain that creates this constant low-level anxiety and puts a massive load on your system.
And this is the result, the trap we all fall into. To avoid that neural sting of rejection, we start to change who we are. We agree with things we don't really believe. We bite our tongues when we should speak up. We laugh at jokes that aren't funny. We get caught. Our brain, in its desperate attempt to keep us safe, starts sacrificing our authenticity, our actual integrity, just to make sure we never ever have to feel the biological pain of being an outsider.
Now, this whole thing isn't just a random feeling or some kind of personality flaw. It's a predictable, automated biological process. It all builds up into this really powerful feedback system that we can call the connection survival loop.
And it works like this. Step 1, the exclusion cue. You notice something. A door closes quietly. A room goes silent when you walk in. You see an inside joke that you're not a part of. Step 2, the social pain signal. Instantly, your DACC fires. You feel that literal ache, that stab of pain. That's your brain screaming,
danger, tribal connection is at risk. Step 3, the limbic hijack. Your amygdala, the brain's fear center, just takes over. Your heart rate spikes, rational thought goes completely offline, and you become obsessed with fixing the problem. Step 4, the compliance maneuver. To make the pain stop, you do whatever it takes. You apologize when you didn't do anything wrong. You people please, you change your opinion. And finally, step 5, the belonging reward. The group lets you back in, the pain stops, and your brain gets this rush of feel-good chemicals like oxytocin. The loop is now complete, and a really dangerous lesson gets hardwired in. Hiding the real me equals survival. So that raises a really important question, doesn't it? This entire process is incredibly draining. That state of hypervigilance and anxiety, it burns a ton of mental energy. So why would the brain choose such a painful and costly strategy just to keep us in line with the group? The answer is a concept called proximity maintenance. See, your brain has one core survival goal that trumps almost everything else: keeping you physically close to your tribe. It's a brutal but efficient strategy. The brain figures it's metabolically cheaper to hit you with a sharp, quick sting of social pain right now than to risk the catastrophic long-term cost of being totally isolated later. Your personal happiness, your authenticity, those are secondary to what your ancient hardware sees as your objective survival.
And this slide just lays out the brain's bottom line in the starkest terms possible. From the perspective of your primal survival circuits, being right, being authentic, being principled, but being alone, that is a total catastrophe, a failure state. But on the other hand, being wrong, being fake, being compliant, but being together with the tribe, well, that's a winning survival strategy. It's a cold, hard calculation that has kept our species alive for a very, very long time.
Okay, I know. So far, this might sound a little bit bleak, like we're just puppets of this ancient automatic system, but we are not. Understanding the system is the absolute first step to overriding it. So this is where we pivot from the problem to the solution. This is all about taking back the remote control from the crowd and achieving what we can call cognitive sovereignty. Now, we have to be realistic here. You're not going to stop that initial biological reaction. That DAC firing, it's faster than conscious thought. So the goal isn't to never feel the sting of rejection again. That's just impossible. The real goal is to feel the sting, recognize it for what it is, a biological alarm, and then choose a conscious, deliberate response instead of just letting that automated loop take you for a ride. And here are 4 practical, science-backed tools you can use to do exactly that. We're going to walk through how to label the signal, why you need to diversify your social portfolio, how to use your own body to calm your brain, and the incredible power of just one supportive connection. Okay, tool number 1 is to label the biosignal. The next time you feel that ache of rejection, I want you to say this script to yourself, either out loud or just in your head. The reason this works is actually fascinating neuroscience. Just the act of putting language to a feeling, of labeling it, shifts activity in your brain. It moves the energy from that reactive, emotional limbic system to your thinking, rational, prefrontal cortex. You're basically telling your brain, hey, I see the signal, I get that it's an old alarm, but I'm in charge now. Tool number 2, diversify your safe haven. Think about it. If one person or one group holds the entire remote control to your sense of belonging, then the survival stakes of their rejection are astronomically high. But if you build a diversified social portfolio, kind of like you would with investments, you lower the risk. You have multiple smaller points of connection: a close friend, a family member, a hobby group, an online community. That way, a rejection in one area doesn't feel like a total threat to your survival. And our last 2 tools recognize a really key principle. Since the pain signal is experienced physically, we can use a physical cure. The first is somatic grounding. It's so simple, but it's powerful. Just stop and focus all of your attention on the physical sensation of your feet flat on the floor. This sends a direct signal back to your brain that your body is physically safe. The second is co-regulation. This just means calling a supportive ally. Calling one person who truly gets you, who can just listen and validate your feelings, that can physically lower the pain signal and calm your entire nervous system down. So let's bring all of this together. We've looked at the science, the evolution, the automated loop, and the tools to intervene. Now let's zoom out to the most profound insight that all of this science really offers us. It's a whole new paradigm for understanding ourselves and our place in the world. This is where it all leads. The next time you feel that deep, paralyzing hurt of being excluded, I want you to give yourself some grace. You are not being dramatic. You are not being too sensitive. You are a human being with a brain that evolved for one thing: survival. Your pain is real because your brain is treating a social wound with the exact same gravity as a physical one. That sensitivity isn't a bug, it's a feature.
And this is the final, most important takeaway. The science shows us, without a doubt, that connection is a fundamental biological need, just like food or water. We are wired for it. But here's the freedom in knowing that. Recognizing that the pain signal is just a signal, a biological alarm designed to get that need met, allows us to separate it from our identity. The alarm can go off without us having to believe the fire is real. Yes, connection is a need, but your inherent value as a person is not, and it never can be up for a group vote.